There are so many mysteries surrounding the Great Pyramid.
Hidden sides, celestial alignments, and untold abilities beyond our wildest dreams. Let's get right into it.
The Abydos carvings have been a hot topic of debate and discussion for over a century. Rediscovered in the 1840s, they're one of the earliest cited examples of ancient Egyptians possibly having had advanced technology. They were found in the Temple of Seti I, and what makes them so fascinating is that they seem to depict modern-looking objects like helicopters, submarines, and airplanes. So, did the ancient Egyptians have knowledge far beyond what we typically give them credit for? They do look eerily like machinery that wouldn't be invented for thousands of years to come. So, did the Egyptians create this stuff themselves? Did they have contact with advanced civilizations or extraterrestrials who shared their technology with them? Or are these just abstract images that we've decided look like modern pieces of technology, even though they were never intended to be?
The Great Pyramid of Giza is a massive four-sided pyramid created by the ancient Egyptians, correct? Well, no, it's actually not, because in fact, the Great Pyramid of Giza has 8 distinct sides. Take a look. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the only 8-sided Egyptian pyramid, and it is also incredibly precisely made, with each indentation being 1 degree of a half degree. This is precision that would be incredibly hard to achieve even with today's modern technology. While some people accredit the wind to these indentations, they're incredibly precise, like I said, splitting each of the previously assumed 4 sides directly in half at the exact same degree of indentation. Do you really think the wind just happened to blow perfectly and the same on all 4 angles of the pyramid? Yeah, I don't think so. Well, now that we're all caught up with how many sides the Great Pyramid actually has, let's talk about why. The leading theory is that the indents were made so that the casting stones, the ones that gave the Great Pyramid its impeccable shine back in the day before they disappeared due to years of erosion, would have stayed in place. Other theories include something to do with precise angles, either designed by or designed to attract aliens, but we will get into that later.
Here's an incredible piece of technology ancient Egyptians have been pretty much confirmed to have access to: electroplating. Electroplating involves coating a metal object with a thin layer of another metal using electricity. Sounds like a pretty modern invention, but there is some evidence that ancient Egyptians might have known about it as well. Several artifacts from ancient Egypt, especially jewelry and decorative items, definitely look like they were electroplated. They have a very thin layer of gold or other shiny metal on their surface, much thinner and more uniform than what could be achieved by the types of techniques we'd picture being used at the time, or even thousands of years later. So some researchers think that the Egyptians had discovered a form of electroplating. If this is true, it would mean that the Egyptians had a much more advanced understanding of chemistry and electricity than we thought. One piece of evidence is the discovery of ancient batteries, like the famous Baghdad battery. Now, this wasn't found in Egypt, but it is a sign that early civilizations might have had the knowledge to create basic electrical equipment, and it's possible that similar technology could have been used by the Egyptians as well.
Another amazing feature of the Great Pyramid is its near perfect alignment with the North Pole. Yeah, the north-south axis is aligned within 0.05 degrees of true north-south, which is insane, especially when you consider the fact that the North Star, which is located in the direction of true north, didn't become visible in the night sky until 500 AD. That's 3,100 years after the Great Pyramid is believed to have been built. What's even crazier is that the north-south alignment of the Great Pyramid, constructed in 2600 BC, is more accurate than the alignment of the modern-day Meridian building at the Greenwich Observatory in London, which deviates 0.15 degrees from true north, which is 3 times more than the deviation of the Great Pyramid. While we have no way of actually knowing how exactly the ancient Egyptians could have done this, perhaps luck, it is assumed by the majority of scientists, archaeologists, and historians that they would have had to use incredibly advanced algorithms and equations that would have only been applicable during seasonal solstice times when the sun's alignment was more easily distinguishable. Even still, with all that and modern day technology, we still couldn't do what they did, which leads many people to believe that possibly, just maybe, they had help from above, from either aliens or the gods. It's dealer's choice, really. really.
When it comes to the mysteries of ancient Egypt, there are usually talks of advanced technology or possible interaction with aliens, as just mentioned, but what if they possess knowledge that was carried over from another, possibly even more advanced civilization? There's a really cool idea that there may have been a civilization or group of people who lived in ancient Egypt before the known ancient Egyptian culture came about. The idea is that these predecessors possessed advanced knowledge and technology beyond what we currently attribute to ancient Egyptians, advanced architecture and scientific knowledge, who knows what else. When you look at the anomalies in ancient Egyptian constructions, like the precision of the pyramids, alignment with celestial bodies, as Hannah mentioned, the complexity of their engineering, it could be possible that these feats were made possible because of knowledge that had been carried over by a civilization now lost to time. Or the ancient Egyptians were just really smart.
Let's talk shaft alignment. There is a distinct difference between the Great Pyramid of Giza and the other two, and that is the fact that the Great Pyramid is the only one built with air shafts leading to the north and south walls of the pyramid. While this is already pretty interesting, it becomes far more interesting when you realize that the shafts are pointed directly towards celestial bodies: Alpha Draconis, Orion's Belt, Sirius, and Beta Ursa Minoris. Why? Like most things to do with the ancient pyramids, we have absolutely no clue. I mean, the pyramid was designed to be a tomb for a dead man, Pharaoh Khufu, who ruled during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom of Egypt. Why would he need ventilation and air shafts? Unless, of course, they served a different purpose. As I said, the shafts are aligned with celestial bodies: Alpha Draconis, the star closest to the North Celestial Pole; Orion's Belt, which consists of 3 stars that are aligned east to west; Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky; and Beta Ursae Minoris, the brightest star in the bowl of the Little Dipper Asterium. Asterium meaning a pattern of stars that are not directly belonging to a constellation. Basically, the shafts point upwards towards significant locations in what the ancient Egyptians likely considered to be the heavens, which could explain why they made them and why they aligned them the way they did, but also not how they did it. And unfortunately, right now, we just have to be okay with not knowing. Or assuming aliens were involved. Again, it's up to you.
Now, I mentioned a possible predecessor to the ancient Egyptians before, but what may have happened to this supposed possible earlier civilization? Well, perhaps the ancient Egyptians were descendants of a civilization that experienced cataclysmic events. Floods, earthquakes. These cataclysms may have destroyed an earlier advanced civilization, and the survivors fled to safer regions, eventually settling in what became ancient Egypt. Some of the knowledge and culture of the previous civilization could have been preserved by these people who integrated elements of that technology into the new culture, but not all of it, and this may help explain why there's still so much mystery surrounding the ancient Egyptians.
I want to circle back to the shafts real quick, because while the king's tomb opening up to the heavens is nice and all, there is actually another theory as to why they were built, and that is hydrogen power. Bear with me, because it is, according to British author Christopher Dunn, entirely possible that the pyramids were actually built as sophisticated power grids with the capabilities of harnessing hydrogen fuel and transmitting electricity. How? Well, according to Dunn, the pyramid's internal chambers and passageways were precisely designed to produce a chemical reaction that could generate hydrogen gas, which was then used to power some kind of electrical generator. Recent evidence proving the ancient Egyptians' abilities to create hydrogen gas using a chemical reaction involving iron and vinegar have only further supported this claim and led scientists to believe that the civilizations that built the pyramids might have been far more advanced than we could have ever imagined.
This next find is super recent and really goes to show just how much about the pyramids we still haven't discovered yet. Between 2021 and 2023, a team of archaeologists from Japan and Egypt used ground penetrating radar, or GPR, to explore beneath Giza's western cemetery. GPR sends waves underground and captures their reflections, which can then be used to create 2D or 3D images of what's down there. Apparently, I don't really know how these things work. This is just what I've read. The data revealed 2 underground structures. There's a shallow structure shaped like an L, which is about 33 feet wide and 49 feet long, and a deeper structure 16 to 33 feet below the ground, covering roughly 33 square feet. And both structures were clearly man-made, which is very exciting because who knows what could be down there. There could be answers to some of the biggest mysteries surrounding the pyramids, and if you want to get really crazy, maybe we'll even find physical evidence of some form of advanced technology. One can dream.
With so many unknowns about the Great Pyramid, I figured it would be nice to talk about something that we do know, that the pyramid contains anomalous heat sources, and we have absolutely no idea why. In 2015, a thermal scan was conducted on the pyramids of Egypt. Not much surprising found in the first two, but the Great Pyramid showed 3 areas along the bottom that were producing an irregular amount of heat. While we are yet to determine the cause, it is believed that they might be hidden undiscovered passageways. Or they could have been caused by internal air currents, or perhaps the use of different building materials, but why? We just don't know. And until technologies improve, we will never know. There are, of course, some other less scientific theories out there that could explain the anomalies. Perhaps what was detected in the thermal scan are actually pieces of leftover, long-forgotten ancient technologies. Maybe the tech's hiding in both the graves and in the pyramid. Or maybe, just maybe, the entire Pyramid of Giza is an ancient alien spaceship. As the years pass, more and more heat spots have been discovered along the bottom of the pyramid. Perhaps for thousands of years, the ship has been harvesting the energy from the sun and creating its own hydrogen, and one day we will see the entire thing take off and head out towards the skies. I mean, it would answer a lot of questions, but of course, it would also open the floodgates to a whole lot more.
Exactly. The more you know, the less you know, is what I've always been told.
Yeah. Thank you for watching our entirely not frustrating video that answered every question you've ever had about Egypt. We'll see you
catch
next time.
And the next